Hey guys, Spud here, and today we have another one-on-one training session with one of my patrons. This student is quite unique as he likes to specialize in flying the DCS F A-18C Hornet in the Cold War and 1990s environment, in various 90s and Cold War themed servers and missions, which I thought was super cool and definitely a new challenge for me as an instructor. When he told me he wanted to work on BVR Fighting in the Fox 1 only environment, he alluded to the fact that most of the time he was kinda winging it when it comes to BVR engagements and trying to just do his best, but without any kind of plan put together as to how to approach the engagement. So in our lesson today, we drilled down into learning and applying the basics of a BVR timeline to a Fox 1 fight with some MiG-23 Floggers. Just like in any part of aviation, we need to have a plan going in to help keep us in front of the jet and in front of the unfolding situation in front of us. And the BVR timeline really serves as a fantastic foundation for how you should plan to approach a BVR fight, whether it's 1v1 or many versus many. While flying in a Western aircraft such as the F-A-18C in our example here today, or any jet from the F-4 to the F-14 or F-15 in a Fox 1 fight, it's incredibly important for you to take the first shot while still outside of the mez of your flogger, fulcrum, or even flanker opponent. Because Soviet designers knew their technology was outclassed by their Western opponents, so they designed their Fox 1 missiles to fly much faster than the American AIM-7 Sparrow to make up for this shortfall. So even if your PK is negligible, you need to take that first shot because it will put the enemy pilot on the defensive, allowing you to recommit post-crank or even bonsai to get that second or even third high PK shot and win the engagement. So guys, keep in mind that I do one-on-one training as a perk for all of my patrons who support the channel with $15 or more. Just make sure you DM me on Discord so we can get you scheduled. Thanks guys, please enjoy the video, and we'll see you in the next one. So, as we're, flying our cap station or we're flying our fighter sweep or whatever, and we're just kind of, flying through the air, doesn't necessarily matter what we're doing, we're in what's called the pre-commit phase of the BVR timeline. Now, BVR timeline refers to both the amount of time we have left until we get to, say, emerge with our bandits, but is more applicable to the amount of distance we have available to us between us and the bandits. Because obviously if we're far enough away from them, they can't shoot us, right? And that's ideally the way we'd like to keep it. So basically in the pre-commit stage, like I said, we're flying our cap station, we're flying our fighter sweep, whatever it is, maybe we're even doing a self-escort strike. And then, the AWACS is going to come up on the radio, and they're going to say, Sahara 2 flight, bandits bra 360 for 55 nautical miles at flight level 300, commit. At which point, we then move from the pre-commit stage to the commit stage, where the AWACS has said these guys are a threat, you guys are going to have to deal with them, or you're going to be risk of being shot down. So at the commit point, we're going to make that turn to 360. And then once we're pointing towards the bandits, we then move from the commit stage to the correlation stage. Because at the correlation stage, we're then using our radar to scan the airspace and try to pick up the bandits that the AWACS controller has pointed out to us and committed us on. Because there could be multiple groups of bandits out there, and maybe another flight of blue jets has been committed on the other flight of bandits. So we want to make sure we're going after the correct group of bad guys, so that way blue aircraft aren't doubled up on the same group. Does that make sense?
Right.
Cool. once we're like, good, pretty darn sure that, this group of bandits here is our bad guys for this, commit that we're on, we're then going to move on to the target slash tactical call and meld section of the BVR timeline. And we're doing that, between about, 50 to 40 nautical miles from the bad guy target. At that point, we are basically communicating and doing the correlation stage over again, but within our own flight. So we've got a flight of 2 bandits. We're then going to essentially assign a particular target to each member of the flight. So that way we don't double up on missiles on one bad guy and leave one bad guy completely clean of threats. Does that make sense?
Right, and not wasting taxpayer money.
Yeah, exactly. And more importantly, making sure all the bad guys go defensive, so that way we can push on them and kill them rather than them doing the same thing to us. So once we get through that part and we've assigned bandits for each shot that we're going to take, we then move from meld over to employment and crank. Now, employment and crank is going to be especially important in a Sparrow only kind of situation like you were talking about here, where at that point we need to take our shot on the bad guys, and then we need to make a crank. Have you ever heard of a crank yet?
Yeah, I've seen the videos where you crank. I just don't understand the theory behind it on
right.
How to keep your radar, because with the Sparrow you got to keep a hard lock the whole time, the STT lock.
Yep, exactly. So at this point you're going to take the shot and we're going to make a crank. So what a crank basically is we've got the B scope of our radar here, right? And we've got our bandit, we've got him locked up, and he's like in the middle of our B scope, when we take the shot.
Right.
Basically, what we're doing in the crank is we're taking that target in the middle of our B scope and we're turning away from him slightly, so that way we're putting that target on the edge of our radar scope. So our radar is still able to scan over him back and forth and keep supporting and guiding our Sparrow or supporting and updating our AIM-120, but we're not flying directly at him, closing the distance super crazy fast. Does that make sense?
Right.
And one reason why we do this is as we crank, we come off, this direction. If our bad guy has fired a missile at us, the missile now has to make a turn and fly an intercept vector on us.
Which loses energy.
Yep, exactly. Exactly right, which means it's going to be losing energy. And also, if it's flying an intercept vector, the closure rate is not as high. And it makes it easier for us to perform an escape maneuver and abort as we get to the next, options in the BVR timeline here, which if we're like, oh crap, this is not going well, we need to abort and run away. We need to be able to make the decision to abort and run away and then either recommit later or have another group of blue fighters intervene to save our butts, basically. Or we need to perform a skate maneuver, at which point we are going to start to turn cold away from the bandits, and then eventually, once we've shaken off their missiles, we're going to recommit back around on them and take another shot, and then restart the timeline over again from employment and crank. Does that make sense?
Right, so the skate is just a turn away and with a recommit.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Or you can skate and be like, you know what, this isn't great. We're going to abort from the skate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. In a Sparrow fight where we have to guide the missile all the way until impact, it's more likely that we'll end up doing a short skate where we're going to keep the crank going and we're just going to keep closing the distance, and hopefully maybe we get a Sparrow to actually impact and kill one of these bandits. At which point, then we'll skate at a later time, and when we're closer to the bad guys, it's called a short skate, and then we'll come around and recommit and try another shot at them. Does that make sense?
Yes. Now, while you're doing the crank, are you releasing chaff? Or are you waiting until your RWR is warning you to?
We're basically weighting for the most part. So when you're flying straight and level, like in the crank, chaff isn't really going to help as much as when you're actually, throw your ECM on and start pulling hard to try and notch the enemy radar. At that point, that's where chaff is going to be really, really helpful. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Cool. So, we've skated, we've gone through the short skate, we're recommitting on these guys to take another shot. But what if, we're flying against, MiG-31s or MiG-25s that just go super crazy fast. They're going, Mach 3 plus, and they're just so pushing straight up on us, and there's no way we can run away. We can't abort. We can't skate. We're just going to have to go and face them head on. Well, that's called a bonsai, where you would turn into the bad guys and just go nose on, use the, within visual range or dogfight modes of your radar and take a shot, hopefully at a high PK, and hopefully you're the guy who shoots first. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's what I do a lot of.
Yeah. Yep. So what we're going to do is we're going to fly against some MiG-23s that have an equivalent weapon to the Sparrow, basically. So that way we can make it a little bit more fair. We won't fly against like flankers or anything like that today. But, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. But the idea with a Fox 1 fight is the same as, a Fox 3 fight that you see a lot of videos on, but we want to ensure that we are the ones to shoot first. And that's why in a Fox 1 fight, the employment and crank phase is critical, because we want to make sure that we have 2 Sparrows out on each bad guy. So in a 2v2, we want to make sure we have a Sparrow out on both of the bad guys. Because ideally, if we can shoot first and get them defensive, then we can get closer to them and take a second or maybe even a third shot at a much higher probability of kill and actually shoot them down. Does that make sense?
Most definitely.
Okay. So with a Sparrow fight, we're not going to consider the missiles to be one shot, one kill sniper bullets. We're going to be expecting to fire a missile at probably further than the maximum range of the Sparrow, to get the bad guys to go defensive, to get them to turn around, to get them to blink. So that way we can then push up on them closer and closer and closer to get that high probability of kill shot. Does that make sense?
Which I do.
Perfect.
But I fail.
Well, that's why you got a wingman today. And hopefully we will be able to make it work better today. Now, the biggest thing here is taking that shot. That first shot is the key. So that way we can ideally get the bad guys defensive to take the second shot. If they take the first shot, then we may have to make that decision to abort and run away and then recommit at a later time, or potentially do a skate and recommit. Make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's go over to DCS and actually fly now. And I'm going to edit the mission real quick so that way we get some MiG-23s instead of flankers to fly against.
All right, give me a second.
At will. So in case you get a bit of a helmet fire going on or anything like that, just let me know and I can pause and we can talk about what's going on, change keybinds, whatever we need to do. One thing
Are we using the HMD?
Yeah. We have it equipped. You can use it or not use it. Totally up to you. I'm probably going to use it today because I'm kind of role-playing as the AWACS as well as your flight lead at the same time. So one thing I wanted to ask you about is, have you heard of the idea of missile kinematics?
Like the kinetic, does that mean like the kinetic energy?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So higher altitude, less thinner air, the farther the missile flies.
Yep.
Lower air, denser air, slower, and less the missile flies.
Exactly. One thing that also is really helpful, especially with Fox 1 engagement, is being faster than Mach 1 when you fire the missile.
Right.
Because there's a lot of drag and energy penalty associated with punching through the transonic regime. So if your missile is fired when it's already above Mach 1, it's going to give your missile a big energy boost. So that way itself doesn't have to expend any of its rocket motor on getting faster than the speed of sound. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
that I did know.
Okay, perfect. So one thing that makes Fox 1 fights against Russian airplanes difficult for Western aircraft like our F4, our F-14, or F-18 is the fact that the Russians knew that their electronics were behind the Americans' advanced, technological wise. So as a result, the Russians tried to make their missiles fly faster, farther than American missiles. So that way their missile could hit us before we got a chance to shoot back, or our missile would still be flying through the air because it's not flying fast enough. Which is why I kind of emphasized earlier in the BVR timeline discussion of we need to ensure that we take the first shot in the fight. So that way we can force them defensive and they don't get the opportunity to force us defensive. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. And one additional thing, as your flight lead here, in order to keep our formation together and be able to fight together as a unit, when we make the cranking maneuver as part of our BVR timeline, I'm going to make the radio call to you of what my heading is when I cranked and bring the radar contact to the side of my display. And that's going to sound something to the effect of me saying gimbals 250. So that means I'm at the gimbal limit of my radar at a heading of 250. So that way you can match me and you can keep track and keep your situational awareness up as to where I am. Does that make sense?
Right. So in other words, when you say that, then I cranked to 250 and that should put my target on the outer or left edge of the radar as well.
Yeah, it's more or less a way for you to keep track of me so you can stay in formation with me.
Okay.
Because your gimbal limit might be 240.
Right.
Just because of our different positioning. So I don't want you to break your radar contact just to follow me. I just want you to be able to know where I am and stay with me. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Perfect. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start flying. We'll set up our cockpit, and then I'll play the AWACS and commit us on the first group of bandits. Sound good?
Okay. Yep.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and unpause. And we'll go ahead and go gate here to build up some speed. And we'll just start a climb on up to 30,000 feet. And go ahead and select your Sparrow. And then on my screens, I always like to have my EW page up on my left EDI. And even when I'm doing a Sparrow fight, I like to have my radar in Twiz mode to start off with. Okay, our flight call sign for today will be Sahara 2. So, Sahara 2, Red Crown, Bandits Bra of 355 for 100 nautical miles at 25,000. Commit. And when you hear that commit call, that's those bandits that you're going to go fight. So, we're currently flying at that 355 heading. So we're at the commit stage of our BVR timeline, and we're just climbing up to about 30,000 feet or so. And we'll start leveling off. So now that we're flying out towards our bandits here, and can you see the data link contact from the AWACS? So it looks like you have me locked up, that's okay. Go ahead and push your radar range out to about 160 nautical miles for me.
I don't know why it's got you locked up. I didn't hit anything.
Go ahead and hit the reset button on your radar display. There you go. Push the range out to 160.
Yep.
Perfect. Not sure why you're not getting any data link.
Let me make sure I got it turned on. That's on. All right, now the second one's on.
Okay, there we go. And now you've got them up on radar. So right now we're in the correlation phase of the BVR timeline. So basically we are looking to make sure that we have the correct bandits on the radar. So right now we are looking at a guy at 355 and he's roughly about 80 nautical miles out. So that should be our guy.
Yeah, it's got you locked up again.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. That's because you're kind of sucked back behind me. We want you to be more out into a combat spread at this moment. So roughly about a half nautical mile to about a nautical mile off to my right or left-hand side. And if you need to, go ahead and hit the reset button again on your radar display.
Yeah, I got them locked up now.
Perfect. So we're past the correlation phase. We're now down to the tactical phase, where we're essentially going to do a correlation between us. We're going to decide who's going to shoot who. And so I'm going to sort us. You take the leader, and I will take the trailer. Sound good?
Yeah, I got the leader locked now.
Fantastic. So at this point, we're now just pushing closer and closer to the bad guys. With our AIM-7 Sparrows, we're going to take our first shot at 25 nautical miles. Sound good?
Right. And right now we're at 53.
Yes, sir.
52.
Yep. Exactly. And so right now I have my radar in auto mode, so that way my scan volume is centered up right on top of that guy.
All right, switch to auto.
Beautiful. And then as they get closer to us, I always like to kind of scrunch down the range of my radar display so that way I can see things a little bit better. It's kind of like zooming in on them a bit. And at this point, we're about 42 nautical miles out. Let's go ahead and go gate. Let's go full burner. And since you are sorted on the leader and I'm on the trailer, I'm going to go ahead and give the lead of the formation to you, but don't worry, I'll still tell you what to do. Alright. Looking good. Looking, there's 32 nautical miles, and like I said, we're going to take that shot at 25 nautical miles, okay?
Alright, sounds good. Now, Sparrows are Fox 1, right?
Yep, exactly.
Alright.
So we need to support this missile all the way to impact. When we pull the trigger, the F-18 is smart enough to switch the lock over to an STT lock.
All right, 25 miles, Fox 1.
Roger. And
I can already see the plane.
Yep, go ahead and crank off to your right, and let me know your gimbals, okay? All right, there's a shot from the MiG-23.
All right, my gimbal is 050.
Roger.
055.
Roger that. I'm following you. Okay, so let's talk about what is happening at this point. So I have it paused, so don't worry.
I was like, what happened?
So if we look at the F-10 map, we can see that we took the first shot, right? And then he fired an R-24 at us. So he is also cranking. But he got a little bit more scared than we did because we took the first shot. So he has gone so far defensive that he has trashed his missile, and his missile is no longer guiding. So, and your missile is probably not going to impact him. But because you're at your gimbal's limit, you still have a lock on him. So at this point, we are going to recommit on the bandit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we're going to turn our nose back into him. You're going to get closer, and you're going to take another shot. This time, let's take a shot from a closer range, so that way we can ensure we get a hit. And then because we've both cranked to the right-hand side, our right-hand side, his left-hand side, we're going to crank to the left this next time after the next shot to keep the range from getting too close. Does that make sense?
Right, so just basically zigzag.
Yes, exactly. Just kind of like a ship doing an anti-torpedo kind of thing where they're just zigzagging across the ocean. That's what we want to do. We want to zigzag across the sky. Make sense?
Yes.
Cool. I'm still the shooter on the trailer, and you're still the shooter on the lead, so I'm going to let you take a second shot here. And then I'm probably going to take a shot on the trailer here. Sound good?
So the minute you unpause, I'm cranking back to center him in the HUD, correct?
Yep. And then depending on the range, you're going to take another shot. We want a closer range for a higher probability of kill for the second shot.
Gotcha.
So we're about 13 nautical miles away from him, or 13 or 14 nautical miles out.
Oh, yeah, I can see him.
Yeah, perfect. So we're going to push up on him and get that nice high PK shot on him, okay?
Now, let me ask you a question, because my Sparrows are in loft now.
Yep.
At what range would you not want them in loft?
You probably don't want to have them loft any closer than about 7 nautical miles.
Okay.
In the F-18, they should swap over automatically, if I recall correctly, to not loft. But if it does loft on you, it's not a huge deal. It should be fine.
Okay.
Yep. So I'll unpause here. We'll center it up, and we'll take a second shot on him, okay?
All right.
And at this point, we've done a crank. We're close to him. So as, referring back to that BVR timeline we studied earlier, we're probably just going to bonsai on this guy and go kill him, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. So here comes the unpause in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, I've got him visual as well. I'm going after the trailer at this point.
He's at 10 miles.
Yep. Go ahead and take a shot on him.
Fox 1.
Roger. I'm backing you up on him. And he's going for the deck. You'll be able to get him no problem. Just keep your eyes on him and go ahead and kill him.
I think that missile missed.
Keep on him.
Ah, splash 1.
Gotcha. Commit on the trailer. I'm going after the trailer here. He's 30 nautical miles out, so big separation. So I'm climbing back up. I'm going back upstairs. Looks like he's at 30,000 feet. So I'm going back up to 30,000 feet. There's 25 nautical miles. Fox 1. And I'm skating right. Sorry, cranking right, I should say.
Alright, got a lock warning.
Copy that. One's gimbals 045. I've got a lock warning as well. Are you still nose on the trailer, Bandit?
Negative. I cranked with you.
Copy that. Let's go ahead and recommit. He's going defensive. I'm in the lead, so I'll stay the shooter. He's going full defensive. He's turning all the way back around. He's going full cold. He knows his leader's dead. Okay, so this is where having an AWACS is going to be really, really key, because we now have a third MiG entering the fight at this point. So we now have the trailer of the original pair of MiGs is going full cold on us, but we've got the lead of a second group of MiGs is going hot really fast at us right now to take a shot on us. So we're going to drop our lock on the guy who's full defensive, and we're going to commit on the guy who's nose onto us. Do you see that?
I just locked him up.
Okay. So in the future, just to keep the leader of the flight's SA up, make sure you call that out, so that way I could then be like, okay, you're the shooter, take the shot when you got the shot. Make sense?
Right.
Cool. San, he's about bra 345 for 21 nautical miles. You're all the way up at 30,000 feet. That's looking good. You're going to want to take that shot pretty quick here, so that way we can keep them defensive. Sound good?
Roger.
Okay. And since I know that you're going to take that shot on the guy who's hot on us, I'm going to stay committed to the guy who I just shot at, so I can push up on him and get that high PK shot. Sound good?
Yeah. Now, how would in a real world situation?
Yep.
When I fire Fox 1, would I say what bandit I'm shooting at?
Yeah, you could either go off of the bulls of that target or the bullseye, or if you're pressed for time, you can just go bandit bra 345 for 21 nautical miles up at 30,000. You know, whatever is going to be easiest for you to basically let me know who you're shooting at. Make sense?
So basically, bandit 340, Fox 1.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we'll go ahead and unpause and we'll get going.
Okay. Bandit 340, 20 miles, Fox 1.
Copy that. One's going defensive because that guy took a shot at me. So I'm going full defensive. I'm going to do an F pull and I'm going to come back around and recommit. So you're the shooter on both of them now. All right, one's coming nose back on. I've got a tally on one of them. I've got tally on both of them.
I got a missile launch at me.
Copy that. Go do. Okay, so best defensive maneuver for you to make at this point here is going to be a F-pull maneuver, where you're going to roll over onto your back and just
straight to the ground.
Yep, exactly. And I'm going to take a shot at the guy who just shot at you, and hopefully he's going to go defensive and break his lock on you. Sound good?
Yep.
But this is where kind of that teamwork is coming in, because I had to go defensive. You took a shot at the guy who shot at me. Now I'm going to take a shot at the guy who shot at you. But because we're at such close range, this is where those Russian missiles that fly faster than ours are so dangerous. Make sense?
Right. Before you unpause, let me go to controls and see what I got for my. Okay, so that's that. Dispense. Okay, so that's chaff there. Yep. All right. I just wanted to remember. It's been so long since I flew. I wanted to remember what my chaff and flare was.
Perfect. Okay, you ready to go?
Yes, ready.
All right, so make sure you pull pretty hard in that F-pull maneuver.
Oh, I'm already pointed at the ground, basically.
Okay, perfect. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Box 1 on the guy that shot at you.
I don't have the lock warnings anymore.
So that's probably because it's in your blind spot.
Oh, yeah.
Your belly right towards the guy who shot at you. So if your belly's pointing at him or your spine of your jet is pointing at him, then it's no good. You got to wait until you're more wings level for your RWR antennas to register correctly. Make sense?
Right. I'm just trying to orientate myself because I see a missile trail to my, what is it? Where am I looking? I can't see. It doesn't change when it's paused.
So I'm currently on your heading from you of directly south of you at 170 degrees, and I just took a shot. So you're probably seeing my missile trail. Make sense?
Yeah, I'm actually pointed towards them again, but I'm vertical straight at the ground.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, I'll go ahead and unpause, and we'll see what happens with these missile shots here.
All right.
Okay, you're passing through my 9. I've got a good shot on this guy. His wingman just shot at me, so I'm going defensive again. Okay, so we're both defensive. So, okay, I splashed one of them. So let's take a look at what the situation is here. So just for our learning, so right now is going to be a pretty dangerous situation because I'm defensive with a bandit on my tail, you're clear, so it's your job now to support me.
I'm trying to come around on him.
Okay.
All I got left is heat seekers.
Perfect. And so basically what I would do is just throw it into bore sight mode, pull your nose on him, and take a shot with a Sidewinder. And we should be good.
Sounds good.
Here comes the unpause. All right, I'm back offensive, so watch, make sure you don't kill me. Fox 2.
I lost him.
Roger that, I'm offensive.
Oh, I got him. I see him.
Fox 2, and that's gonna kill him. Splash. Cool, good job, dude.
I gave him an extra one.
Perfect. So that's basically how a Fox 1 BVR timeline is going to go. So
see, that is much easier with somebody working with somebody.
Yeah, it's all about teamwork, that's for sure. It's all about being able to mutually support each other, so that way if one of us gets in a bad situation, the other one can come in and help them out. Make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. Want to reset it and run it again?
Yeah, why not? That was fun.
Group of MiG-23s. That's at 355 for 125 nautical miles. They're at co-altitude at 18,000 feet, but I have a feeling that they are going to go upstairs again. So we'll unpause, we'll go gate, and we'll climb up to 30,000. Sound good?
Now, when you say gate, you mean full afterburner, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So, gate just means full afterburner. Yep. Nothing more complicated than that.
Gotcha.
All right. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Just gonna set up my cockpit with all of my displays. Select my sparrows. And I'm going upstairs.
Yeah, I'm ahead of you on that. I was going up there too.
Roger. And are you able to get data link on them? Yep, there we go. Perfect. All right. And we're just going to go for a combat spread formation. About a half a nautical mile to a nautical mile between us. Looks like the bandits are climbing through 25,000.
I hate when it does that.
When it does what?
When you hit air to air, you lose your EW page. It goes back to stores.
Oh, yeah. Alright, I'm leveling.
I'm at 30,500.
Copy. I'm a little bit above you, no problem. That just gives us a little bit of separation for maneuvering. Okay, so we are committed on the bandits, so we're at the commit phase, and now we're going to move to correlation. We've got 2 ship of bandits on the nose at a heading of 355 degrees, so that is definitely the group that we've been committed on by the AWACS. And so now it's down to the tactical phase of the BVR timeline. So we'll go ahead and sort on the bandits. Since I took the trailer on the first engagement, we'll have you take the lead this time. Or sorry, I meant to say, since I took the trailer on the last one, I'm going to have you take the trailer this time, and I will take the lead, okay?
Roger.
All right.
Uh-oh. My damn stick came loose. Oh, there we go.
Perfect. Good save.
Now, how do I lock the
yeah.
Because it's giving me, if you look, it's only giving me the brick for the lead.
Yeah. So you're just gonna have to be a little bit patient.
So it'll eventually lock on. Where I can switch with my nose wheel steering.
You got it. Exactly. So right now, in my aircraft, and I'm right neck and neck with you, right off your 9 o'clock here. I'm just barely getting a brick on that trailer, so you should be able to get them here, no problem. Sound good?
Sound good.
All right, here we go. And they're kind of coming and going on my radar, and we're still pretty darn far out. You know, we're still 70 miles out. And so if we can get them from this far out with the F-18's radar, we're doing pretty good in my book.
Oh, there's my brick.
Perfect.
Oh, it just went away.
Yep, to be expected. Well, that's why data link is fantastic.
All right, it's giving me the star. I got the first one locked up, but oh, there we go.
Roger. I'm sorted on the lead, and you're sorted on the trailer, correct?
Yes, I have the star on the trailer.
Okay. At this point, the AWACS would be saying, Sahara 2 Flight Red Crown, bandits have broken into 2 groups, Bra 355 for 52 at 28,000, second group Bra 355 for 71 up at 28,000. All right, we're coming through 35 nautical miles. And like we agreed upon before, I'm going to take the first shot on the lead at 25 nautical miles of separation. And you want to take the second shot on the trailer once you get to 25 nautical miles from the second guy.
So pause it for a second.
Sure.
I just want to make sure I got the right one locked up because it's telling me that I'm still 60 miles from the second bandit.
Yep, they are in a trail formation about 20 nautical miles behind each other.
Okay.
So right now the trailer is 25 nautical miles behind the lead. So that is all looking good.
All right, just want to make sure I had the right one locked up because...
Yep, no problem. So what we'll do, because of our formation, I'm on your left-hand side. What I'm going to do is at 25 nautical miles, I'm going to take the first Fox 1 shot at the lead guy, and we're going to crank to the left, and then I'll, of course, call out my gimbals for my heading. You're going to follow me in the crank, and then once we get down to about 30 nautical miles from the trailer, that's when we'll recommit, and you'll take a shot at the trailer. Sound good? At 25 nautical miles.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, there's 30 nautical miles from the lead. I'm going to start my loft. And here we go. Fox 1. Cranking left. Gimbals 310. Slight descent. Let me know when you get about 30 nautical miles from the trailer. Alright, looks like my bandit's going full defensive. Let's go ahead and recommit.
Recommitting on my bandit.
Roger, I'm recommitting on my bandit. Looks like he's within visual range for me, so I've got tally on my bandit.
I'm at, oh, it just switched over to your bandit.
Copy. Try and switch back over. I am Bonsai on my bandit. Fox 1 again.
All right, I'm at 35 nautical miles from mine.
Copy that. Hold the shot to 25 if you can. And splash 1. I'm recommitting on your bandit. You're the shooter.
29 miles, 28 miles.
I'm coming back upstairs.
Is bandit 000, Fox 1, Roger. 23 miles. Cranking right.
Copy that. I've got a visual on you. I'm backing you up here.
Gimbal 060.
Copy that. Okay, I'm nose, I'm hot on your bandit. Go ahead and recommit.
Recommitting.
You're still the shooter, so if you got him, go ahead and take the shot. You're higher than me.
Fox 1.
Copy.
I got a missile lock cranking to the right again.
Copy that. Go ahead and do an F-pull. I've got nose on your bandit. Fox 1 on your bandit.
Alright, turning back hot because I have no warnings.
Copy. I'm still nose on your bandit. And splash, your guy's down. We've got a third bandit entering the area. Come left to a heading about 3, 4, 5 or so. He's up at 24,000 feet. You got him?
Negative.
Copy.
He's still in the, for me, he's still in the, what's that little area at the top called?
Go ahead and expand your radar range. That way you can see him.
I'm at 160.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. There's a guy much, much closer. I just took a shot at him. So go ahead and back me up here. He's coming downhill. He's going defensive, coming through about 15,000 feet.
All right, I got you.
Roger that. I'm descending. My nose is on him.
I got him. I see him.
Copy that. Go ahead and back me up here. That was my last Sparrow shot, so I'm down to Sidewinders. Alright, so he evaded my Sparrow shot. Oh, he just shot at you.
Box 2.
Copy. Chaff flares, chaff flares. Okay, so he just spoofed your missile, so I'm coming back on him. I'm offensive.
Oh, I'm at 2,000 feet.
Yep. Roger that. I got him here for you. Oh, go defensive. Chaff flares, missile launch on you. Fox 2. Splash. Got him.
Sweet.
And that's how it's done, sir. That's how we make easy work of the bandits.
Oh, we got them all?
Yep. We got all 3 of them. So I think that I shot down all 3 of them that time, but it was a team effort, that's for sure.
I got a missile. I got 2 missiles off.
Perfect. Looks like we've got one more bandit coming at us if you want to unpause it and go after him. He is at a bra of 350 for 38 nautical miles up at 34,000 feet if you want to go for him.
Yep. All I got is a heater.
Copy that. All I've got is a heater as well. So this will be interesting. Okay. So we'll go ahead and unpause in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So with this kind of situation, we're going to have to bonsai him. So we're going to stay low. Don't go above about 10,000 feet and turn back around to a heading of 340.
Roger, 340.
And we're going to want to be spread out pretty far.
Oh, wait, do I got belly sparrows, right? It says I got 2 left.
Yep, you should have them. Okay, so you're definitely going to be the shooter. I'm going to spin real quick here, so that way you can get out front. And since you've got some sparrows, we're gonna climb up to about 20,000. Sound good?
Yep, climbing now.
Roger that. Don't know why I can't see you on data link. It's kind of weird, but it's all good.
Well, let me make sure IFF is on. Yeah, IFF is on. Data link's on.
Roger. Sometimes
I got you behind me.
All right, sounds good. I'm climbing. Okay, MiG-23 is locking.
I got a radar lock.
Yep.
On me.
Take a shot as fast as you can here.
Oh, I don't have a lock on him.
Okay. Try to get one if you can. It's up at 34,000 feet, so use that radar elevation change. And if you're in auto and your scan volume's not on top of him, just get TDC to press on top of him for you. There you go. Oh, your jammer's on, so you won't be able to lock him. So make sure you get your jammer off.
I got his, how do I turn that off?
That's going to be the switch on the pedestal there. Yeah,
right there?
Yeah, you've got it in receive now, so you should be good.
Okay.
Yep, there we go. We'll go ahead and unpause. So right now, you are super close to him. You're only
I see him.
9 nautical miles, so go to dogfight modes, go to bore sight mode, and then lock him up and take a sparrow shot as quick as you can.
All right, gotcha.
All right, here we go. And shoot.
Box 1.
Roger, and I would go crank to the left. Okay, I'm backing you up here. I have him.
Alright, I'm at 300.
Copy that, and you splashed him. Good job. Nice job, dude. Really awesome job.